Welcome to PowerCat Live. I'm here with Manuela Pichler, my fellow PowerCat. Hi, Manuela.
Hello, hi.
Welcome back. So for those that haven't seen one of your many other videos on PowerCat Live, tell us a little bit about your background. How did you get here?
I'm Manuela. I'm part of the PowerCat team. I'm a program manager, solution architect on the team, working with some of our customers to help them accelerate their Microsoft Power Platform adoption. I'm based in Europe myself, so work with some of our European customers.
And you do a lot around kind of best practices and how to really succeed kind of on both the technical and the soft skills side of Power Platform. And as part of that, you as part of the team, but really you coalesced a maturity model. Tell us what a maturity model is.
So it's really a team's effort. I was just the one to put pen to paper. The maturity model is, I guess, like a set of structured levels that describe how behaviors, practices, and processes can be used to produce the desired outcome. It structures both the people, the culture, as well as processes around a model that can be applied.
And so this maturity model is really kind of seems like a summary of a lot of PowerCat experience, right? Not just the entire team,
Yes.
but over time, right?
Yes, that's true. That's true. I think through over time working with our most successful customers, we've identified consistent themes, patterns, practices that really underpin the progress of a successful organization as they implement Power Platform adoption. I think we've just seen like customers be successful again and again using the same patterns, and kind of the result of all of those learnings we've published as the PowerCat adoption maturity model.
Describe a little bit more about the maturity model and the different levels it contains.
So it's based on the capability maturity model, which is something that Dynamics, Office 365, and other industries also use to describe their maturity. It's broken down into five phases that outline characteristics of an organization in each phase, and also provide inspiration for opportunities that you can take to mature to the next phase.
And now will an organization, are they going to go through like in a straight line across all of these, or how does someone actually use this?
So it's broken down into different characteristics like your maturity for administration and governance, your maturity for nurture, your maturity in identifying business value. And as you kind of look at this, you would find what matters to you most and what most aligns with your digital transformation strategy, with your vision, and then you would pick kind of those characteristics and opportunities in those phases and mature there into the next phase. But it's definitely not a linear journey, and we have a lot of customers who are very mature in one area and maybe less so in another area, and a lot of that depends on kind of your organizational structure, but also what matters to you.
We've all in PowerCat worked with customers kind of all along this spectrum. Can you describe, like, just kind of paint a picture of what someone at the left end at the initial side looks like and what someone who's fully at the efficient level looks like? Just kind of people can see where they fit on this journey.
Yeah, so in the initial phase, I would say there's kind of no overall strategy or vision. There's not really a governance approach. Apps are largely created in the default environment. There's no data loss prevention policies that are put in place. It's mostly single teams or even individuals that kind of drive the adoption there, and apps are supported by those makers. They're probably primarily based on Excel or SharePoint as the data sources. And maybe the organization or individual teams see the value of the Power Platform, but there's not really a clear path forward for that organization-wide adoption or for establishing a center of excellence.
So that sounds like an organization that maybe just turned it on and pockets of success of people discovering it, but really there's no guiding strategy.
Yeah, so we see a lot of customers who have what we call viral adoption. So the Power Platform is available. People discover it organically through the Microsoft 365 portal, through the integration with SharePoint, for example. They start using it, evangelizing it within their teams, or sometimes those makers create kind of a circle of influence around them where they teach others how to use that. But there's not really an overall strategy that ties it all together.
And I know I've seen from some of those customers that when we tell them, especially if they haven't yet installed the COE starter kit, when we tell them how many apps they have, they're surprised because it is happening kind of virally all throughout the organization.
Yeah, and I think that kind of that discovery of what is going on often leads then to the next phase in the model, the repeatable phase, where the customer discovers what is going on. They find out what value the Power Platform has already been adding, but they also find out kind of what controls they may need to put in place to provide those guardrails that make sure that central IT can be confident in what the makers are creating. So very often, I guess, in the first two phases, once the discovery has happened, an organization may feel like their adoption is running out of control, and they put a central team in place to implement certain controls around security and data loss prevention.
It sounds like not every organization may choose to go all the way to the efficient phase from what you're saying, but when someone is there, an organization that's fully at the efficient phase, what does that look like?
I think there's a lot of automation is taking place. So there are some standardized automated processes that allow makers and administrators, the CUE and central admins to communicate efficiently. There's a community of experts that look at new opportunities to implement rapidly. That to recognize the value quickly, and they use some more advanced capabilities such as AI, for example.
Right.
There's also an element of where like fusion teams that enable legacy capabilities and modern cloud architecture to be used together. So they create, for example, PCF components or custom connectors that all makers can then use. The Power Platform, I would say the Power Platform is an integral part of the digital transformation strategy of that organization. It's recognized as part of the enterprise architecture of the organization, and there's executive sponsorship of the Power Platform adoption in kind of across the organization there.
Sounds like an organization that has really got it as part of their DNA, right? They're really looking at it as a strategic difference.
Yes, I would definitely say so. And I think what makes customers at Edge stage successful is to not look at it as here's what low code does and here's what pro code does, but it all kind of weaves in together, and the different teams that look after developing applications for the use are working well together, independent of kind of their skill set and their background.
Now, along the bottom here, you've got some opportunities. And so this can really be a way to structure, okay, where do we need to go get deeper or learn more? Tell a little bit about how customers have used it for growing and moving to the right along this chart.
Yes, I think in each phase, I guess, maps to existing guidance content that our team provides, be it through videos or through written articles in our guidance section. They can be used to then kind of identify where you want to go next and what you want to do next. And all of those present kind of opportunities. So if you're in the initial phase where you don't have a governance approach, just establishing DLP policies and an environment strategy can be kind of the next step into maturing your adoption. And then further, kind of if you're further along that journey, finding out about some of our nurture best practices and guidances on how to run hackathons, how to come up with a training strategy for your makers, can then kind of again take you to that next level.
What does a customer do if they want to get started using the maturity model to transform their organization with Power Platform?
So first, I would suggest checking out the blog post at the bottom there. You've got the detailed table of all the characteristics across all phases, and really spend time assessing where you are at the moment. Assess where you want to go. Don't treat it as a checkbox exercise, but really kind of internalize what that model is and how it best aligns to what you want to achieve with the Power Platform, and then go from there and identify for each pillar, so the governance pillar, the business value pillar, etc., identify the opportunities that you have in your organization to kind of go further.
And for the maturity model itself, what happens next with it?
It's really a living document. So what we've published so far is what we've learned so far. Obviously, our customers continue to grow, the platform continues to evolve, and with that, our experience will continue to grow and evolve. So we will look to mature the maturity model, I guess.
Nice. Well done. So, Manuel, I know from the early reviews and the reviewers of this content that it's a really nice condensed way of seeing a lot of material on how you'd really transform an organization with Power Platform. So thanks for taking the time to share it.
Yeah, thanks for having me again.